I know that there will be a lot of Oscar buzz surrounding this film and talks about The Rock himself, but I gotta stop for a minute to just appreciate how much that The Rock was so dedicated that they actually made him unrecognizable. Like, if you see a picture of this man and you tell me that this is The Rock, I swear I would have told you that's not him. It may sound like him, but that's not him. There's no way that this guy looks like this guy. Okay, that's just not possible. And while I understand that at some point in the movie he does start to kind of look like The Rock a little bit more, I gotta give props. They made this man look more unrecognizable in terms of how he looks. Because, man, I would have never have pictured The Rock having hair, because it's been a while. Now, granted, it's not real, but still, it's kind of impressive to see him have hair for once. Yeah, when's the last time you've ever seen The Rock having some very nice hair to him? It's just been a very long time. But I mean, hey, they want to get it down right, make it look good.
Big strong man, I love you.
Think he wants your autograph?
Sure, no problem. No fighting.
The Smashing Machine is directed and written by Benny Safdie. The film stars Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt, Ryan Bader, Bas Rutten, and Oleksandr Usyk. MMA fighter Mark Kerr reaches the peak of his career but faces personal hardships along the way. Again, IMDb, you let me down. Why? Really? That's all you can give me? Look, I am not going to in any way claim myself to be an expert in MMA, UFC, or any sort of fighting sport, okay? I have no knowledge of it, and nor do I have any idea who Mark Kerr was or his importance to the sport, okay? First time ever hearing about this man, but they're making a movie about him, so he must be of some importance to the world of MMA fighting. But what I do know is that The Rock, for 20 to 25 years, has been playing pretty much the same character. Let's not be around the bush, okay? Up until last year, this man has just been playing the same thing over and over and over again. And while there are moments in his career where I actually did find him funny and charming and likable, there have been a lot of points where I'm like, man, you gotta shake this up. Especially last year with Red One, I'm like, man, you have got to stop with this. You really have to, because you are clearly showing that you are just getting by on your charisma and charm still, and it's just not working out for this movie. So I think a lot of people have been asking The Rock, at the very least, please, just nothing else, just once, try to do something a little bit more dramatic or something completely different for you. And the fact that he has been wanting to do something that was completely different, finally, something that we can work with here that can hopefully prove that can he actually really act besides just being himself. And teaming up with Benny Safdie, who is one of the Safdie brothers. If you know, him and his brother have done films together with both A Good Time and Uncut Gems. Really amazing films. If you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend them. Is going solo with this movie. And this is kind of strange because I kind of hope at some point that him and his brother can hopefully do movies together, but for now we're getting Benny doing this movie, and then in December we're getting Josh's movie with Marty Supreme, which I am looking forward to. So Dwayne Johnson going dramatic got me curious, but having one of the Safdie brothers behind the camera, I was hoping to enjoy and finally see Johnson playing a character for once. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for anything else. This movie could have been terrible in so many ways. All I am just asking is, can The Rock at the very least just put his heart and soul into a project that I can at least see the passion and love for? Not just him, but just him as an actor. Can he just do that for me, please? And upon watching it, I can say not only did Johnson finally prove his acting, but was an enjoyable film. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Finally, we got something out of this man. It took 25 years, but hey, who's counting? Though not perfect, I'm just happy that The Rock just took a chance and it paid off. And yes, so many people could say, well, he's just playing a fighter. Yes, I understand there could be some improvements to be made with that, but hey, I will take this as a win in terms of him actually trying to act for once and play a character. So before discussing my problems though, here are the positives. The performances are exciting. Dwayne Johnson is tough but sensible as Mark Kerr, a fighter who seeks to be the best. This is easily, I think, Dwayne Johnson's best performance. Okay, I don't think there's any sort of dispute or any sort of competition. I understand people could say they love him for who he is as The Rock and putting on this larger than life persona. I get that. But I'm just happy to see him actually feel like he wanted to really try to be this fighter. Somebody who helped lead the way with regards to MMA fighting and getting recognition for not just that sport, but for the fighters to help get payment that they needed. Because back in the day, MMA fighters barely got enough by in terms of not just like their medication and whatnot, but also just to make an honest living. And I understand that that must be a very difficult thing to have gone through and struggle, but I'm just happy at the very least Dwayne Johnson gave an amazing performance for once, and I really would like to see more of this. Please, I would really am asking to see more of him actually trying to lean into more dramatic stuff and play against the types that he's usually used to playing, because I just think it would benefit not just him in terms of actor, but just helping showcase that wrestlers turned actors can really be people who can really prove themselves to be capable in front of the camera in a movie form. Emily Blunt is supportive and emotional as Dawn, Mark's significant other, and I can say that she's not in it as much as maybe some of the marketing wants you to believe, but I do think that in the moments that she's there, again, I don't doubt for a fact that Emily Blunt can't carry her own. She has proven that before in other movies, and here is no different. She really plays this woman who really deeply cares about her man and how much she wants to support him, but also goes through a lot of turmoils with him. And both Johnson and Blunt are really good together. That makes it really interesting. They are easily the best parts about this movie, and the reason to watch it is to just see how much these two have had a very conflictive and also hard life together in the form of Mark Kerr and Dawn. And to see their dynamic in the film, of course, is completely different than how both The Rock and Blunt were in Jungle Cruise. It's just nice knowing that, hey, these two have had a really good chemistry with each other on not just the previous movie that they worked on, but just off screen, they really have a good camaraderie with each other, and I really like seeing that. Ryan Bayer is very good as Mark Coleman, Kerr's friend and fellow fighter. This is somebody, of course, I also don't know about, and the person that's playing him is also a fighter in real life. Surprisingly really good. I actually really like how he plays this Mark Coleman and how much he was always supportive and always caring for his best friend and what it means to him with regards to what he does, but also what benefits also Mark Coleman and what he wants for his future as well. And both Johnson and Bayer work very well with one another, that I found myself really hoping for more. I do really like the chemistry that they have with one another, and just overall solid acting. Nobody in this movie is terrible. Everyone in this is firing on all cylinders. The direction is solid. Director Benny Safdie commits to a level-headed and personal take on who Mark Kerr is and the problems in his life. It shows his passion on this project. Benny Safdie talked about how he got into contact with Dwayne Johnson back in 2019 about this movie. And during COVID, Benny couldn't stop thinking about this film and how much he really wanted this movie to really reflect Mark Kerr as a person. And I think he succeeds in that way. He showcases how much pain and suffering that Mark Kerr had to go through with regards to not just his mental health, but his physical health, and how much that had afflicted him. And Benny does a nice job of really keeping things on a personal, grounded tone. It never felt like it went to the big extremes or is lavish in any way. It feels very personal to what the movie is. And I think that's what makes him a really good director, because he knows how to make everything feel intimate and in the moment, that it doesn't seem like it was Hollywoodized. It actually felt like you were in some ways watching a documentary, how it all felt. Now granted, we know that this is a movie, but still, it came off of this feeling of you're watching the moments happen just how they were in Mark Kerr's life. The cinematography is stunning. Cinematographer Meso Bishop shoots a grounded and stylistic film that feels like a documentary, feeling like you're in the moment. Just like what I said about Benny Safdie, Meso Bishop does an amazing job of keeping things at a steady pace with regards to how fights are shown and the personal moments are supposed to be, feeling again like it has that documentary vibe and feeling that makes you be in those moments, feel like you are there witnessing these events happening. And I don't think this movie could have been on that level that we usually see with a lot of biopics or sports dramas in being super glossy and glamorized. It felt like you are watching how it all felt when it happened. The music is stellar. Composer Oleksandr crafts a score that uses synth wave to express the emotions and vibes of scenes, having it feel expressive in its tone and its atmosphere. Let me tell you guys, I am a sucker for synthwave. I listen to every night a Blade Runner station whenever I sleep. So great to sleep to. And with this, the music in here is so beautiful, is so vibrant and very colorful in the way it goes about expressing itself. It's just amazing to see a movie like this that I thought it would have a lot of like loud music or a lot of like rock music, which of course I love, but I was surprised on the synth scoring in this, and I think Noah Simfro does an amazing job of capturing the vibe and feeling that Mark is going through and how the scenes are supposed to be popping off with not only just that music but with the coloring of the scenes themselves, and it all blends together to make something so beautiful in what you see and hear. The production is amazing. Seeing the sets shows the effort from the crew, but making sure it all felt right, looking just like how these events would be and how they would feel. Because usually when you're dealing with like something like an MMA fight, and of course this happened in real life, the fact that you have these sets, they're big and to the point of not being extravagant, but rather just reasonable. And it all felt natural. It all looked amazing. It felt like a lot of care went into making sure that it all seemed as if events like this could happen and how it feels. And a lot of that work from the crew is shown in how much they are able to replicate moments that obviously happened and to make it seem like it is of the 90s and the 2000s. Pacing runtime is effective. Every scene feels right and doesn't drag out. With a runtime of 2 hours and 3 minutes, it's enough for viewers. I am completely stunned that Benny Safdie managed to take this movie and just shorten it down to 2 hours and 3 minutes. That's impressive to me because, again, biopics tend to a lot of the times go overboard and try to be all super duper dramatic and be super epic. Not this movie. This movie just tries to just tell you who Mark Kerr is, events that happen, and what led to him being such an important figure in the world of MMA fighting, that it's enough to where it doesn't need to, at the very least, and I say this, at the very least, go on and be dragged out for much longer than what most other sports dramas or biopics tend to be. The fight sequences are great. All the matches feel brutal and real when they happen, giving audiences a real feeling with these matches. Fights in MMA or any sort of sporting event, you want to make sure that everything feels like they are plausible and reasonable on how they are. They're not exaggerated, they are not cartoonish in how they feel, and here the fights feel as if they are of that sport and how it would be with regards to the brutality and the physical embodiment or toll it can have on people, and how much they are willing to push themselves into those fights and how much they are able to wrap the other opponents around, kick them down while they're in that position. It's incredible to see how much they want to really replicate all that fighting style that the MMA fighters used, or rather what Mark Kerr and other fighters that he fought did in those moments, and I think it pulled off very well. Some good stuff there, but there are some issues that do keep it down from being so much better. I wish this was even better than it is, but again, like I said, it's not a perfect film in any way, so here are now the negatives. The story is loose, though some good moments and some really good dramatic parts. It feels messy with time jumps and parts in Kerr's life, feeling more like highlighting the big moments than the smaller ones. I feel like this movie does fall into the trappings that most other sports biopics tend to do, and that is trying to just do the usual biopic formula in a way where you got your main character, he's at the top, but hey, one bad thing happens and it leads to a spiral out of control in his life, and it leads to having him trying to rebuild himself up to get back from the ground up and be at the heights again. Yeah, that sounds like every other biopic. Now, I'll give credit, it's not to the point if it's 100% like a usual sports drama, but it is in a way still feeling like how you would see biopics tend to go about it, how it feels and how it flows. It just kind of felt like everything was not really as locked solid in the way it was executed. I do wish Mark Kerr and Coleman, I wish they were like almost like the protagonists of this movie, because I wish that they had shown that development even further. The drug supply is lackluster. While props to not doing the stereotypical thing that most sports biopics tend to do, which is, or rather biopics themselves, where again, he's into drugs or he's having an addiction problem and it's crescendoing, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then he spirals out, and then all of a sudden now he lets out his emotions and he needs to get sober. I will give the movie credit, it does not linger on it too much in the sense of like it's drawn out throughout all the movie, it's quickly resolved. The problem is that there still feels like it wraps up super quickly to the point of after a while you just don't notice it anymore. It's like you don't see the effects of Mark Kerr and how going to rehab and coming out and having to struggle with not wanting to get back into that lifestyle again. It's not really there. It kind of feels like it was never fully developed and further explored. They tell us it, but they don't really explore the idea of how much he's trying to get used to not being on those abusive drugs, that it affects his mind. Because of course, like usually, and I would want to assume that when you get out of rehab, you're trying to get yourself in a better mood space and trying to not go back to that sort of mentality anymore. So you have people in your life that are good influences, but if they aren't good influences and are enabling it and showcasing it and flashing it around, that tends to kind of make them kind of want to crawl back into what they used to be and kind of go a little bit crazy for that. And the fact that there's no point in the movie where Mark Kerr ever felt like he's itching or he's feeling like those drugs they're really getting to me. I really want it so badly, but I can't. I just wish there was more to it than just simply like, all right, he's clean. The writing is bland. Benny Safdie pens a script that's generic and recycled from other sports dramas, having it not be as memorable. Look, I'm not looking for it to always be the most quotable or the most amazing dialogue ever written. I'm just looking for something that can at least get to the meat and bones of it. And to me, it just kind of feels like Benny Safdie just wrote a script that has already been done before. And while it's not a terrible script, if you look at other sports dramas or biopics about sports figures, there's just better ones or even fictional ones that have been done a little bit better and feel as if there's a little bit more of a feeling in terms of its originality. Because here it just kind of seems like stuff you've heard 1,000 times before and done a little bit better, if you ask me, because to me it just doesn't seem like enough attention was there for it. In the end, Johnson wins by putting his heart and passion into the sports drama, and while director Benny Safdie delivered an enjoyable but flawed film, I'm still just overall happy, making it a hard but deserving victory in the end. I'm just glad that you have a film that really showcases The Rock wanting to actually try to be an actor. And I just hope moving forward, as much as he'll try to do another Jumanji movie, I just hope that he can do more of this. And it would just really help his image and help his career out if he just takes on projects like this to showcase that he means business and wants to be taken seriously as an actor. I'm going to give The Smashing Machine a 7 out of 10. It's a good sports drama that I think you'll get enough there with regards to The Rock's performance, because of course him and Emily Blunt, they are easily the best parts of this movie. They are the things that are holding this together and really helping cement this movie as being as enjoyable as it is. Because, yeah, this movie could easily fall into the trappings of being just another sports drama or a sports biopic, but I'll give credit. At the very least, this movie tries to have amazing performances and other good parts about it that it doesn't wholly try to be as original as it is, but at the very least be as good as it can for a movie about an important figure in the world of MMA fighting. Overall, I enjoyed it for what it is. So I will be soon doing a review for Tron Ares. So yes, look forward to that review and other reviews coming soon.